Warning! The following video may contain harsh language, crude humor, and may offend unintentionally, and is an affiliate of Scythering Productions. The opinions and comments expressed do not reflect those of the Scythering team. All credit and criticism shall be warranted to TWS Productions. Viewer discretion is advised.
And welcome to That Wrestling Show. It's been a while since I've been on, but there's been so much stuff going on with professional wrestling and so many backstage blah 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 gossip things, and I'm not going to report on them. And if you're a fan of Twitter, you pretty much know what's going on. However, I do have some interesting stories for this week on 11/11/11. So why don't we get right into the news of the week? As many of you know, last Tuesday, Evan Bourne was actually suspended for 30 days in violation of the wellness policy. Many feel that this is, of course, due to WWE cracking down on synthetic marijuana, better known as Spice and K2. What's interesting is a couple months ago, there was a report going around that since WWE was cracking down more on the synthetic drugs, that the wrestlers were going to, well, they were going to back to marijuana, the real stuff. So this is kind of a low blow to me. I'm a big Evan Bourne fan. I'm a big Evan Bourne supporter. And then you find out that, well, he gets busted for the wellness policy for taking the synthetics. This kind of makes me go, well, you know, not for nothing, but if you... It doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on, whether you think it affects you or it doesn't affect you. The truth of the matter is, if you have a job and they tell you you can't do this and you can't do that, just do what the job tells you. It's just the way it is. And, you know, it's a low blow for, you know, me, but there's a lot of other guys that were pinched in the past and they went on and did pretty well. You had John Morrison, who did get pinched a couple years back with the whole steroid thing, and Dolph Ziggler got pinched as well. And, well, at least Ziggler's doing alright in his career, and, well, Morrison's done alright. He's just now started to get the win, but is this going to be the nail of death for Evan Bourne? I don't think so. I think maybe the first strike tends to possibly kick people on the straight and narrow, and hell, Randy Orton was pinched years ago, and, well, he's won the title, what, 10 times now? So, again, who knows? Sources say that Barry Windham 2 weeks ago actually suffered a stroke or a heart attack. It's still unconfirmed, but however, he is still doing a lot better than expected. Apparently he is slightly declining a little bit in health, but he is still fighting the good fight, and he has yet not kicked bucket. There are also a lot of rumors going on that Jerry Briscoe died, but no, that was just a Twitter thing that just floated around. This is one of the reasons why I don't subscribe to Twitter, because you have one person that says, oh, this person died, and it spreads like wildfire, and then you get everyone believing it, and then, well, you just get this whole masquerade of stuff going around. And oh no, Jerry Briscoe, he didn't die. Just no. That's again one of the reasons why I don't subscribe to Twitter. Now this is one of the biggest stories that's been floating around the net for a little while, and it really hasn't been confirmed. The officials have actually been talking about having WrestleMania 29 and 30 in Toronto or Arlington, Texas. Although it really hasn't been confirmed that those are the rumored and possible hotspots for WWE's WrestleMania. Now, while I have no problem with Toronto or Texas hosting WrestleMania, you have to remember, they just hosted WrestleMania 2 years ago. Does anybody remember WrestleMania 25? I'm almost positive that was in Texas. I could be wrong. And, well, Toronto hasn't done a WrestleMania in quite some time. Last time I checked, it was, I believe, WrestleMania 18 was the last time they went to Toronto, so they are overdue. My big question is, and again, I'm not knocking on Dallas, Texas, or Toronto, it's just it's WrestleMania 30. I can't see that not being in Madison Square Garden, and I'm not saying that the Garden has to be the venue for WrestleMania, but it's kind of it's got that home feel to it. WrestleMania belongs in Madison Square Garden. It was held there for the first one. It was held there for the 10th one. It was held there, I believe, for WrestleMania 15. It was held there for WrestleMania 20. And it hasn't seen WrestleMania since. I don't think it's really seen a lot of pay-per-views since WrestleMania 20. There may have been a couple here and there, but I don't think there's been any major, massive pay-per-view. WrestleMania 30 should be, in my opinion, held at Madison Square Garden. At least they're not going to go to the Staples Center that's had SummerSlam 3 times in a row. And again, I'm not knocking on Texas hosting WrestleMania. Because the weird thing is, Texas, WrestleMania 30, you would kind of think that Taker might have some kind of involvement with that, or even Shawn would have something kind of involved with that. Just to me, it does. I'm not going to say it doesn't sound epic or grand. It just kind of seems out of place. Now, maybe if it was WrestleMania 29, then okay. But again, I'm not knocking on it. It just seems that WrestleMania, the big ones, 110 and 20, have always been at the Garden, and I kind of think they should uphold that tradition. It's possible they might be doing that just for Survivor Series, but we shall find out. Now, this is some news that's just coming out of the woodworks right now, but everyone remember Brodus Clay? He was kind of supposed to debut last week on Raw. Yeah, well, he didn't, obviously, not even in a dark match. But believe it or not, he is set to debut at the 3-hour Super Show this coming Monday. The reason why he wasn't at the Super Show this week is, well, WWE, again, for the second time in a row, ran out of time. Well, that's just... It's not laughable by any means, but it's kind of funny that they debut, they build, and finally it's time for the debut, and oh yeah, we forgot. We definitely forgot. The whole Michael Cole challenge, they should just say that's going to be held at Survivor Series. I have a feeling that's where they're going with this. If they can't get that match done in the 3-hour spectacular, then there's almost no hope. This is also coming right out of the woodworks, and it kind of makes me scratch my head a little bit, but China actually wrote a letter to WWE, or more so Vince, asking if, well, they were ready to do business together. WWE, more so Vince McMahon, said no. We are not interested in, well, doing business with you. China, there's probably a reason why WWE doesn't want to do business with you. There's a reason why WWE has no faith in you. Because you've been on a downward spiral for a while, and you just came out with a porn. WWE is trying to distance themselves from that. I don't quite understand why. No, I mean, okay, I'll give you the credit where the credit is due. You were the first woman in the Royal Rumble. You were the first woman to hold a men's title, that'd be the Intercontinental title. Granted, it was with Chris Jericho. And you did help revolutionize the women's division, you know, a little bit, along with Trish, Lita, and the rest of the girls. But have you really contributed much to pro wrestling since then? Hell, TNA didn't even want you. What makes you think WWE's gonna want you? And speaking of, well, TNA, those of you that still watch that, well, train wreck that's going on. By the way, AJ Styles is injured, so let's see how long that goes. Their website officially had been hacked. Yes.
Oh, fuck!
Yes. TNA's website, Impact Wrestling's website, was officially hacked by an anonymous person or persons. Believe it or not, the website redirected you and gave you a page that said, and I quote, "I love you, Mindy." TNA were able to restore it, but unfortunately it was hacked again a day later, and TNA had since then shut down the website to further work on it. Wow, TNA. I'm not going to say that it's not uncommon that websites get hacked. I mean, it was last year that Sony PlayStation got hacked, and now it's TNA. Now, I'm not going to say that this is from the anonymous group, but why would you pick on TNA? Did they piss you off that much that you had to destroy their website? And who the hell is Mindy? It's kind of laughable a little bit, but you figure that with all the money that, well, Dixie Carter has, that she could afford some kind of virus protection and some kind of, I don't know, backup security for the website. I have no idea. It just goes to show that perhaps well, they shouldn't have a website. Hell, Chikara has a long-standing website, and they never get hacked. Kind of makes you wonder. Rumors are circulating that this is a bad thing right now for SmackDown, but rumors are circulating that Christian is out with injury.
Fuck!
And he's actually been pulled away from the European tour because he was seen limping and slightly hurt in the ankle to knee areas. He was assisted to the back after wrestling Sheamus and during one of the House SmackDown shows. It is unconfirmed right now if he is 100% legitimately injured, but he has been removed for the European tour and sent back home. Not a good thing for SmackDown right now because, well, let's face it, they're not doing anything with Christian anyway, but that's just another star that they have to remove and send away. Now, while the balance is, well, now they just got Hunico and Epico attacking Sin Cara, they kind of don't have their masks. And it kind of defeats the allure a little bit, unless they're trying to make Sin Cara all that much more special. But at the same time, what does this have to do with, well, SmackDown? Well, it's not that they were doing anything with Christian, but he is one of the potentials to watch for on SmackDown. But unfortunately, now that he's injured, we're going to really have to buckle down and see who they're going to throw in the contendership. It's not that Christian was going to get a title shot anyway, but, well, it's just not good news. Oh, this is not funny in any way, sense of the form, but Henry Godwin, that's everyone who remembers him, Henry O. Godwin was actually involved in a car accident. In this case, he actually drove his car off a cliff. I am not making this up. He drove his car off of a cliff and crashed and burned, suffering 2 punctured lungs, 13 broken ribs, and a broken leg. He was rushed to intensive care and is still fighting the good fight to stay alive. This is not funny by any means at all. I can't even crack a joke about this. Not that Henry Godwin was, a legend among legends. But it seems that, again, the curse of the cars continues. First it was Kurt Angle, and then it became Macho Man Randy Savage, and then it became Daphne, and it just seems like every other week or every week thereafter there seems to be some kind of car issue. My suggestion to anyone who wrestles is to not drive. Seriously, do not drive. Cars are death machines, and they will take you out whether you are a legend or not, as it shows. And one of the biggest rumors right now, kind of circulating the internet, don't really believe it, but you never know. Low-Key has actually been seen working out at Batista's gym. And the rumor floating around is that he might be preparing or training for a career in mixed martial arts. Now, while there's not a lot of truth or not a lot of falseness to these reports, keep in mind that David Hart Smith has also been reported seeing at Batista's gym. So Low-Key is, well, necessarily done with wrestling, or at least done for now, and is thinking of pursuing a career in mixed martial arts. Not to say that the transition wouldn't carry over too well, but low-key, I don't know. When I first relaunched this whole thing, I kind of went off on how WWE dropped the ball on low-key, which they still do, and they still have, and I'm still never going to forgive them for that. But low-key going to MMA, I'm not sure if he'll fit. I think he'll be an attraction, more or less, but he's not that much of an attraction like a Batista or a Brock Lesnar or anything of that nature. But we shall see. Again, it's just rumors floating around. I don't quite understand if it's true or not, but it is floating around. But now it's time for that little bit of the segment which we talked about. Now, this week, I'd like to just talk very briefly about how the product of WWE has been over the last couple of months. With the pay-per-view buy rates coming here and there, and then being down, and then being up, and then being down, and then being up, many are questioning that WWE has, well, lost its edge or has dropped the ball with certain stars. My take on this is WWE, I was one of them. I was ready to, and a lot of the fans were ready to leave the product because we were just getting so sick and tired of the staleness. We were getting so sick and tired of the direction it was going and putting on these pay-per-views that were just so atrocious and just blasé and boring. It just became to the point where you didn't want to watch anymore. You just didn't care. Now, one of the main reasons why a lot of fans came back, and this is true, is the attraction of one particular guy better known as CM Punk. Now, I'm not saying he's the greatest in the world. He's the only reason to watch Monday Night Raw, but he's one of the reasons to watch Monday Night Raw. Now, a lot of people are saying that they've dropped the ball on CM Punk. They gave him the title, they took it away, they were going to give him the title back, but then Alberto Del Rio got it, and then Alberto Del Rio lost it, but then he got it back. Yeah, I'm not 100% agreeable with that whole way they handled that. I'm not going to say that CM Punk should have held that title forever, but I'm not going to necessarily say that CM Punk should not have won that title in the first place. I hate transitional champions. I hate hot-shotting the title. I hate going from person to person to person to person, and it seems that they do that often. My biggest concern right now with WWE is the fact that, well, it seems that they're starting to pull away from the whole Cena with the title thing against The Rock, and that I'm okay with. Cena and The Rock now is a bigger event without the title. I know that sounds weird, but come on. Cena is the WWE champion, and The Rock has one match against John Cena, and it would be for the title. Rock would not be winning that belt. It's just not going to happen. It would never happen, because they're not going to give the title to someone who isn't going to commit to the company. It's not going to happen. So you take that title away, and now there's an aura of suspense. Cena's still winning, but there's still an aura of suspense. Now the real question is, has WWE lost its edge? Has WWE kind of lost its footing? Does WWE know the direction they want to go? And personally, I don't think they've lost their footing. I think they're kind of rebuilding slightly. They're trying to get things in motion. The hard part is there are so many fans out there that are so jaded and so critical and so hardcore about certain things that if they don't get what they want, they're the ones that bash WWE the most. And they seem to be the ones that not necessarily hurt the product, but they're the ones that kind of ruin the product. Now, I will admit that there have been times where I've ruined the product for myself. I have sat there and yelled and argued and screamed that they should be pushed to other guys, like John Morrison. He should be pushed. But there's some personal issues, and of course WWE considers that to be the ending of the push. Christian should be pushed a lot harder than he should be, but he is up there in age, so we really shouldn't be pushing him that much. But the main focus is, as I said, the pay-per-views. While WWE is doing slightly better in the pay-per-views, not necessarily in the buys, but more so in the production, what the hard part is, like I said, I was going to talk about that briefly, but I kind of ruined that. I think the main problem with WWE right now is they're kind of going through a slight identity crisis. While they're trying to play it safe with John Cena, who obviously is going to draw in the money, they want to go another kind of slightly edgier route with CM Punk. But the issue with that though is which one is going to be pushed. You have John Cena, who's got that big match at WrestleMania, and you have CM Punk, who's, well, doesn't necessarily not have a big match, but he's kind of in that feud with Del Rio right now. And the reason why Del Rio and Punk is and isn't gelling very well is because they were just kind of thrown into the aftermath of that whole threesome Money in the Bank SummerSlam debacle. It was kind of a confusing twist, and it's taking a while for the ball to get rolling. I think the big problem, though, is WWE tends to have a great idea, and they rush things, and, well, when they get rushed, there's no time to ingest it, and when we do ingest it, it's already too late. Has WWE lost its footing? I don't necessarily think so. I think WWE is doing a slightly average job for what they're doing, to say the least. I wish SmackDown would be, well, slightly better. I don't understand the whole Bryan Danielson thing, losing all the time. I don't understand exactly what direction they're going, but that could be a good thing. I think for once they've kind of stumped me a little bit, and the less I know and the less I can try to figure out, I think that's better because I get more surprised. And, well, the bottom line is WWE is not as stale as it used to be. Yes, it's got the same things going on over and over. Yes, it's got John Cena doing this and all that stuff. We get that, and they do ruin their own shows. I mean, they completely ruin their own shows, especially giving out spoilers before the spoilers. But I think WWE just might be going in the right direction. Right now it's in a rebuilding phase, and certain guys are getting pushed, certain guys aren't getting pushed. They're trying to get all the pieces back together. And, well, who knows what's going to happen in the year of 2012. But that's going to do it all for this week's episode of That Wrestling Show. Kind of a long rant there, but I figure, what the hell, I just get it off my chest. I'm not saying don't lose faith in WWE, but just watch them carefully. Try to look at it from from spectators' eyes. Try to look at it from different eyes. Look at it, yes, as a fan, but try not to get too invested into it because let's remember, it is what it is. And that'll do it all for this week. I thank you all for tuning in and listening, and everyone that goes to the chat room every Monday for Monday Night Raw, and of course for all the pay-per-views. You can go to the website at thatwrestlingshow.webs.com. The chat room is free. You can click on us and check us out and do everything you can and subscribe as well. We love the subscribers. We need the subscribers to stay alive. I am DM saying until next time, I'll see you.